Monday morning. Welcome to Motivational Mondays. I am Genevieve Jones-Wright, founder and lead empower mentor of Motivation.In.Action, or MIA. This morning, we are concluding our September conversations. And unlike the other conversations we featured in September around National Recovery Month, we are going to have a conversation around Suicide Prevention Awareness Month. So although this conversation will be a bit heavy, I know that you will find inspiration through the story of my cousin, Amio Taylor, who joins us this morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for being here. And I really do want to just say thank you for being willing to tell your story, to be vulnerable. I know you haven't told this story to very many people, but I'm sure that your story is going to help a lot of people. So I first want to just ask you a question you can take as broadly or as narrow as you want. Who is Amio?
Amio is just a person going through this journey called life, navigating it the best way that I can.
Yeah. So there's so many parts to who you are, and one part of that is your service to our country, your service to me, your service to the people who are watching. Can we talk about your military career?
Sure. I began my military career in February of 2008, and I was medically retired in August of 2020. So 12 and a half years.
12 and a half years, I'm pretty sure you saw a lot of stuff.
Absolutely. I saw a lot. I did a lot. I am proud of my service.
And we're proud of you as well. One part of your story is that your father was a service member as well, and you served in the Army like your father did. So that's pretty cool. And I hate to say it, but you're a Charger fan and your father was a Deer Raiders fan.
I'm a Rams fan.
Oh yeah. Wait a minute. Let me go back because you switched over.
When they left us, but I'm a Rams fan.
So I'm allowed to do this because this is family banter, y'all. But you are a Rams fan, a very dedicated Rams fan. Still not, a world champion Raiders fan, but we'll get you there at one point. But as far as your service to the country, when did you decide that that's something you wanted to do?
Well, for me personally, the military was a way out. It was a way out of the environment that I grew up in. I grew up in Southeast San Diego. I attended junior college, and I couldn't get into my particular career field. I failed my psych eval, and that's when I said, hey, I got to do something for myself, and the military was my way out.
What was the chosen career field that you wanted to do before the military?
I wanted to begin a career in law enforcement.
And full circle, now you do have a career in law enforcement.
Yes, I do.
So what do you do now?
Now I work in the federal prison system. I work in employee development, so I oversee all training and ensure that new hires are trained properly.
Nice. So you do a lot of stuff out in the community as well. I've known you to do back to school events for students and their families, but can you just touch on that and how you've been able to just do this stuff on your own without having an organization, without having any funding behind you? Can you talk about that a little bit?
Well, for me, I do it from my heart. And I believe it's something that I'm passionate about because I know growing up in school, I did not excel. I got into a lot of trouble, and a lot of it was because I felt like I wasn't prepared. I didn't have the basics, and that's why, for me, coming back home, I never wanted to lose sight of that. And so I try to give back to my community in whatever ways that I can. So for me, that's offering school supplies to the community.
Yeah. So September is Suicide Prevention Awareness Month. What does that mean to you personally?
To me, it is something that is very personal. I did attempt to commit suicide before. So I'm aware of suicide every single day of my life, not just one particular month of the year, but it's something that I daily work on myself, my shadow work and my self-work.
What kind of work are you doing every single day to kind of keep you in this space where you're able to just achieve and accomplish so much despite your challenges?
Perspective. I see that as a place and a time in my life where I was able to grow. I think when I was in that dark place, being able to overcome it, I saw so much. Like, what was it that I was trying to hinder myself from? So being able to survive that attempt And to get to where I am now, perspective for me is every day I'm forever grateful for my life. I live every day with purpose and with passion, and I try to make the best out of every day that I'm here. And reflecting on that, I just look back and think about all the things that I've accomplished thus far and how I would have missed those opportunities for growth. I would have missed those moments with family. So I am forever grateful. And like I said, suicide awareness is something very real and very personal for me.
Yeah. So again, I just want to thank you for telling your story because I know it's not easy. I know that a lot of people look to you as the strong person in the family. You're a provider for a lot of people. You're the person that people see accomplishing so many goals. And for a lot of people listening to the story right now, they may not even know that you've gone through what you've gone through because you don't look like it. And you certainly don't act as if you were ever in that place because every single day you're just building, you're doing, you're giving back, you're just an amazing person. So what in your view would you say is important for people who support other people who may be going through PTSD or traumatic experiences or even depression as a family member, as a friend? What would you say we could do for people who are experiencing those things?
The best advice I can give to someone that wants to be there is just check in on check in and see kind of where people are, and don't just assume because they appear to be always happy or they appear to be so successful that they have everything all together and they have it all figured out. We always focus on being the strong person and that strong friend. Well, that strong person needs support too. And I think when we have those people in our lives that are our go-to, they're the backbone of the family. You also need to check in on them too, instead of always laying your burdens down on that person. So,
Absolutely. What would you say is your biggest challenge that you face today or that you faced during your time as a service member?
my biggest challenge as a service member was the identity that was associated with that service. um, Being in the military or working in any type of system, you have that rank, you have that power, you have all those responsibilities that's vested within that. And in that, I think sometimes you lose yourself because for me, I knew as a sergeant, as a platoon sergeant, a leader of almost 100 troops, that it was my responsibility to make sure that they were good. And in leadership roles, sometimes you forget that you need to make sure you're good too. So just that's what I know that I could have worked on a little better, looking back at the experience that I faced.
You hit on something. You hit on identities. And you went into the military as a young woman and you maneuvered through, you advanced in the ranks, you were put in leadership positions, you went to Guantanamo Bay, you were everywhere. And then you had to transition from out of the military into the civilian world. When you look at going through the different phases in your life, did you struggle with how you identified as a person?
Absolutely. Wearing a uniform in any capacity, I think, changes you because you're associated with that uniform, that you lose your individual self. And for me, I felt like I lost a little bit of myself because I knew that I had to do exactly what these policies and the procedures said to do. So, um, that's what I was. That's what controlled me in a sense, if that makes sense.
It makes a lot of sense to me. So I do want to give people an opportunity to know a different side of Amio. If you could describe yourself in 5 words,
Oh, wow.
how would you describe yourself?
Wow, you got me with that one. I am purpose driven. I am a lifelong learner. I am a protector. I am based off faith. And I am grounded on just the idea of there's something better in the world. There's more. There's something more.
And now the $1 billion question. What message would you leave with our audience today?
Your silence serves no one. As cliche as it may sound, there's support, there's people that care about you, there's people that love you. You don't have to go through your experiences alone.
Everyone, I want to just thank you for tuning in. I want to thank you for listening to Amio's story. It's not easy to come before people and to tell parts of our story, especially when we admit that we are in dark places or were in dark places. But I really do pray that through her story, you will see that despite challenges and despite traumatic experiences, that you can overcome them and day by day live with that perspective, the healthy perspective that you are doing what you are called to do. And as she just said, she is purpose driven. She is so amazing. And I'm so glad that you were here and that you're still here to tell your story and can continue to contribute to the lives that you contribute to.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us for this week's Motivational Mondays. I'm going to see you next week, same time, same place, right here, with more inspiration to help you jumpstart your week. Now, if you found this week's conversation inspirational or motivational in any way, maybe you got a gem to carry with you throughout the day or the week, please feel free to like, comment, and share. Because remember, everyone can use some motivation. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. I'll see you next week.